and welcome to our update and our conversation with you as to the celebration surrounding November the 30th this year. We're in the month of November. Today is the first day of the month of November, and for most Barbadians, that sparks off the feelings of nationality, of national pride, of conquests, all the things that we associate with independence and becoming a republic. Now, I have been given the distinct honor this year to be the chairman of the committee, the cabinet subcommittee, in charge of the November 30th celebrations. Just for housekeeping purposes and just to advise you, the other members of that committee are Minister Chantal Monroe-Knight, who's the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for culture, Minister Kurt Humphrey, who's the Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Minister Charles Griffith, who's the Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. And also on that subcommittee are Commodore Sherlin, who's the Chief of Staff of the BDF, and Ms. Carol Roberts-Reefer, the CEO of the NCF, and Senator John King. And there are other persons who are on that committee or will be co-opted to that committee as the need arises. What does November mean for us? What does November the 30th mean for us as Bajans? 56 years ago, on November the 30th, 1966, Barbados took a giant step towards full governance in declaring its independence from Great Britain. Just 1 year ago, on the same date, and I'm sure all of you can remember exactly where you were and what you were doing when the Barbados was declared a republic. For many people, you can remember what Rihanna was wearing, you can remember who was there, you all took pictures, we all took pictures, and we had a euphoric celebration of our new status as the world's youngest republic. With that new republic, we completed self-governance, and Dame Sandra Mason became our first native head of state. And she's Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason. She became the first president of Barbados. So November is without a doubt the month of the year when we Barbadians, we Bajans celebrate our national pride. We embrace and celebrate all things Bajan. We have the arguments as to raisins or no raisins in conquests. We have, like, what are we doing on November 30th? We have kite flying. We have our national dress. People come out in all sorts of colors. People come out in all sorts of outfits. And the pageantry associated with November 30th is something that we as Bajans look forward to, have held on to. This is our national month, our national feel-good month. If I can bring you into my life a little bit, November the 30th has always been a very, very special day for me. From the time I was able to walk, my father took me to Independence Parade. I have never missed the Independence Parade except when I was overseas studying. As a child, I was on my father's shoulders as we stood in the back and tried to see what was going on, and he positioned himself so I could peek through the crowd, so I could see the soldiers in parade, so I could see when they presented arms. And I went from there as a Cub Scout to carrying the flag at Independence Day Parade. I then went from there as a cadet to being on the parade as part of the armed troops. And then from there I was a member of the band, and I ended my Independence Parade career as a cymbalist in the mass band. I was a good cymbalist though. But from then, from those experiences with my dad, from those experiences being among the throngs of other Barbadians, I think that's where my fierce nationalism came from. I look forward to Independence Day more than I even look forward to Christmas. It was that time when I saw people that I saw at the last parade, when I got to see the armed troops in all their colors, when we got to hear the gun salute and you waited for the first bang of the gun salute. November the 30th has always been the most special day of the year for me, even more so than Christmas. This year's celebration is particularly special. This is our first full celebration with the first full parade, with the first full most things since the COVID pandemic crippled the world and cripple the way we Bajans interact with each other and the way we celebrate the things that are important to us. We appreciate this, and it's time for us to start back to be who we are. It is time for us to start back and celebrate in the way that we know that we celebrate. It has been hurtful to me over the last couple of years that we had to sideline children for the most part in our celebrations. The parade was a scaled down version of the parade with minimal troops on parade. We had it transferred in some instances to Hero Square, where it was a small parade because we had to have one, but because we didn't know exactly what we were playing with and we were in advance counting the cost of the exposure persons with COVID, we had to curtail all the activities that usually are there for the children. So this year, Bajans, we back to normal. Hashtag we outside. We doing it in full. We going the full way to celebrate our independence and to celebrate our first anniversary as a republic. That we are once again able to actually gather is a testimony to the spirit and the resilience of Barbadians. It has not been easy. It hasn't been easy. We have been locked up. We have been isolating. We have been careful for years. It feels like forever. And we know that's not our way. It was what we had to do for a time, and we as a government had to put the measures in place to deal with that, to protect you, the citizens of Barbados. Not because we wanted to, because we believe, we honestly believe that that was best for you at that point in time. We've turned the corner. The fact that we're in here without masks, the fact that we're walking about without masks now, the fact that we're comfortable interacting with each other, the fact that when somebody now coughs, you think to yourself it could actually be a cold, should tell you that we've come a long way and that we've turned a corner. Over the last 11 months, we have witnessed the renewed and re-energized expression of Bajan pride in industry from Bajans from all walks of life, from home, from abroad. There has been a fierce feeling of nationality and Bajan pride, national pride. And this has not gone unnoticed by us as a government. It's not gone unnoticed by the cabinet. From our athletes and our artists to our entrepreneurs, our innovators, Barbadians, wherever they reside, have embraced the notion of true independence and expressed it in myriad ways. There's probably never been a time to be more proud to be a Bajan. Last Thursday, the Cabinet of Barbados took the decision to henceforth observe November 30th as Barbados National Day, commemorating our independence from Britain in 1966 and our transition to parliamentary republic in 2021. Indeed, the national events on November 30th will culminate with an entire month of celebration comprising sporting activities, cultural and heritage-inspired activities, including the lighting ceremony which takes place this afternoon. The second humanitarian awards ceremony on November 20th, road tennis, as well as other sporting competitions. NIFCA events are back in full flight, and the Spirit of the Nation pageant, as well as some new events and new activities which will be publicized and promoted with an official calendar of Barbados National Day events coming out later this week. I'm advised by Ms. Roberts-Reefer that the document will be a live document, and we're going to initially put it out this week, but as more people come on board, as more things are done to properly recognize our National Day, we'll try to keep as updated as we can. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that on this, the first Barbados National Day, the annual ceremonial parade, conferred of national honors and the presentation of leadership badges to the head boys and head girls of all public and private secondary and primary schools returned to Kensington Oval at 8 a.m. The uniformed groups will march in a ceremonial parade from Kensington to National Heroes Square, where the Prime Minister and the full cabinet will receive the salute. A toast to the nation reception in honor of the new national honors awardees will take place at State House and be hosted by the President of Barbados. And the first Barbados National Day concert in Bridgetown will be a fitting finale to the day and month of celebration. I have just tried to, in a nutshell, encapsulate what it is that we're doing. I'm going to invite first Lieutenant Colonel Lovell to give you the full particulars of the parade and what happens from the military aspect on that day. Then I will invite Senator Minister Monroe Knight to flesh out what is happening culturally with able support from Miss Carol Roberts-Reefer. I am excited. I am very excited for us to be back out and for us to be celebrating our National Day in the way that we are supposed to. And I want to start by issuing an invitation to all Bajans, in particular to the children. I want to invite all of you to participate in everything. We're trying to make sure that every interest is covered. We're trying to make sure that there's something for everybody. But this is your day. This is our day. This is our national day. And I'm inviting all of you to participate fully and let us make it the success that we know it should be. We deserve it and our country deserves it. So I'm just going to ask Lieutenant Colonel Lovell to provide some particulars on the military aspect.
Thank you very much, Minister. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon, and I share your enthusiasm and your excitement, Minister. Definitely, I can say to you first and foremost that the inaugural Barbados National Day Parade will be a fantastic spectacle of military precision, pomp, pageantry, and a display of our national culture. It is going to be a spectacle that you must be there on the day to witness. I want to say as well that I'm confident in saying this because I've interacted with several organizations, youth organizations, uniformed organizations, and they have indicated to me that they are happy, they're excited, and they're enthusiastic to get back on parade and to display to Barbados what they've been doing, they've been working towards during the pandemic. The uniform organizations such as the Barbados Cadet Corps, the Girl Guides Association of Barbados, the Barbados Boy Scouts Association, and the Barbados Youth Advance Corps are ready and willing to get out there on parade to give Barbados that show, that spectacle, that traditional highlight of the independence season that we've become accustomed to. Just to summarize the Barbados National Day Parade, it begins at 8 a.m. officially at Kensington Oval with the arrival of Her Excellency the President of Barbados. However, as customary, there will be coverage and commentary of the troops marching on to parade, getting into position, the colors marching on to parade prior to the arrival of Her Excellency. And we all know what that particular aspect is all about. However, from the official start at 8 a.m., the parade will be broken down into 5 phases. The first phase of the parade will be the arrival of the dignitaries and the traditional inspection of the troops on parade by Her Excellency the President of Barbados. The second phase will be the march past and paying of compliments to Her Excellency as the reviewing officer on parade. The third phase of the parade will be the national presentation and the address to the nation by the Honorable Prime Minister. The fourth phase of the parade will be the salute to the nation, as most people look forward to, and as I heard you mention, Minister, the 21-gun salute paying respect to Barbados on its special day. And the last phase will be the ceremonial march through Bridgetown, which many Barbadians look out for and which many Barbadians turn out on an annual basis to support the troops, to support Barbados, and to show their patriotism. Just to summarize these phases in a bit, the first phase will see the arrival of the senior dignitaries in Barbados, headed by Her Excellency the President, arriving to the parade, and on her arrival, she will receive a presidential salute from the parade, and immediately after that, she will have the traditional inspection of the troops on parade. Those troops obviously being the uniform and the armed uniformed organizations on parade, but particularly our youth organizations as well will be on parade and will be proud to see Her Excellency inspecting the parade and to show their best once Her Excellency is inspecting the parade. Immediately after that, the troops will have the opportunity to march past and pay compliments to Her Excellency. The uniform organizations and the armed units will march past in slow and quick time, and the unarmed units, the Boy Scouts, the Youth Advance Corps, the Landship, all of these organizations who are turned out on Proud or Not Day will have the opportunity to march past in quick time and pay compliments to Her Excellency. That brings the second phase of the parade to an end, and the third phase of the parade is kind of an exciting cultural presentation to Barbados. You will have the national presentation, the pinning of leadership badges on the head boys and the head girls of our schools. The second segment, you will have the presentation of our national honors and awards. The third segment will be an address to the nation by our Honorable Prime Minister, and the last segment will be a surprise performance. I will not let the cat out of the bag, Minister, but it will be a surprise performance, and I encourage you all to come out and witness that performance after the Honorable Prime Minister's address to the nation. The fourth phase of the parade will see the parade advance in review order, and we will be joined on parade by Her Excellency the Prime Minister, Her Excellency the President, the Honorable Prime Minister, and the Chief Justice of Barbados, and we will all, as one nation, pay compliments and salute Barbados with that 21-gun salute that we all look forward to every year. The last phase of the parade will see the departures of the dignitaries, and immediately upon the departures of the dignitaries, you will have the troops formed up and ready to participate in the traditional march through Bridgetown, where you have thousands of Barbadians who come out and they position themselves in position where they can support their loved ones and they can see the marching troops on parade. So Barbadians, I say to you, don't take my word for it. Come out, enjoy this parade, see the pomp, the pageantry, the color, the precision. It is going to be a fantastic spectacle, and I urge you to come out, show your patriotism, and be part of history. Thank you.
I'm now going to ask Minister Monroe Knight to take us through the cultural aspects. What can we expect?
Thank you very much, Minister Abrams. I've caught the excitement that you have elaborated on, and certainly the Division of Culture is extremely proud to, under your leadership, be part of the national committee that has been established to make sure that we are not just having November 30th as just the day, but that for the entire month of November, the intent is that we roll out a set of activities that, as you've indicated, is going to encourage and embrace Barbadians, as we celebrate and commemorate this very special month. So as you would have indicated, we will be rolling out a month-long calendar, and that calendar will come out in the first instance on Friday, November 4th, and we will be coordinating with all of the various ministries and departments of government that will be holding special events. So already we are aware that, for instance, the Ministry of Environment will be holding a tree planting competition. Most of you would also know of the activities that are held by the Community Independence Celebration Secretariat, and those parish ambassadors are really happy and excited to be back out again doing activities within their communities, and of course, as we talked about before, the Spirit of the Nation show as well. There will be national sporting activities that will be held again especially to commemorate the day. And I also want to mention as well that one of the other initiatives under the Division of Culture and through the National Culture Foundation will be 3 concerts that will be held on November 30th in the 3 squares of town, and I'll let the CEO for the NCF elaborate that. But making the point here again that even in the context of those performances, we are hoping that we will have Barbadians. So these are community-based projects that are ongoing at the moment, and we are bringing them to the fore in the celebration. So this is really, Minister Abrams, intended to be a very grounded process where Barbadians and communities and everyone can see themselves participating in the full month of November as we celebrate Barbados National Day.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'm now going to ask one of my favorite people, Miss Carol Roberts, to talk us through some details. Tease us a little bit, Carol.
Thank you very much, Minister. You started it. So the National Cultural Foundation, through the Division of Culture, has been engaged for just over 18 months in a number of community projects. You would have seen the culmination of some of those efforts during Crop Over, which is namely the Barbados National Community Steel Orchestra, which thrilled audiences throughout the festival. We've also been working with Ryan Boyce and a number of other coordinators to put together, we call it the Voice Project, a mass choir. And that mass choir, as of this date, is some 125 strong. We've also been working to upgrade and rebrand the National Youth Orchestra, and I'm pleased to announce, if I may, Minister, that come November, our Barbados National Youth Orchestra will feature as a standard part of its instrumentation tuk and pan instruments, and that orchestra will give its debut performance during the month of November. So if you can picture a Bridgetown, and we have Golden Square, the site of that agitation, education that led to the 1937 revolution. And then we have Independence Square, which by its very name alone will let us all know after which historic moment in our history that commemorates. And then we have National Hero Square, which was the main venue for our transition to a parliamentary republic just last year. So on November 30th, for the first ever Barbados National Day concert, those three squares will come alive, free to the public, with those three projects: the 100 Voice project, the National Steel Orchestra, and the National Youth Orchestra. Just a few hours before that, during the ceremonial parade and the other activities at Kensington Oval on the morning of Barbados National Day, we will also be coordinating a very special cultural presentation. The kernel of it started, Minister, on November 29th at the Pride and Nationhood event in National Hero Square, where the Mass Police and Defence Force bands met up musically with a percussion contingent, again featuring tuk and drums. And we've taken that to another level. We're about to start rehearsals, and all I will say about that is that you should also come out to see that however you can. I mean, it is Barbados National Day, so we're hoping that you will rest up in the days before and be ready to go all across Barbados in communities to see what is happening, because there will be community activities, but also taking part in the national activities. We have another project which is being piloted by the Pilots Creative Workshop, and that is training in maneuvers and all aspects of the heritage component of the Barbados Landship Association. And about 150 young people will be going through their maneuvers. They're currently in training, and they will also be featured on Barbados National Day. And of course there is NIFCA. The lighting ceremony will be launched, will take place this evening, and the media launch for NIFCA is tomorrow. And our very first event is actually on Friday. We have a series of concerts, again featuring NIFCA participants from schools and community groups in music. So we're calling it Concerts in the Square, and that will take place on Friday. And with regard to the calendar, you would have heard the Minister encourage all associations and groups to just contact us, let us know what your event is during the month of November, so that we can update the calendar. But we will have the calendar ready for the public on Friday, so you can cherry pick. And here's hoping this is one time you cherry pick everything in which to participate for the month of November.
Thank you. Everybody. I can't overstate how important this is to us and to us as a people. We have been through a lot. It has not been easy for a lot of us. There are persons who have suffered during the COVID pandemic. It has changed the way we do things. But there's no time for us to get back on an even keel. There's no time for us to do things in the Bajan way. There's no time for us to enjoy things as we always did. There's no time for us, again, to look forward to things in the same way that we did before. I'm inviting all of Barbados, the young, the old, everyone, in particular the children, let us take in all that is there. Let us participate fully. Let us again enjoy that spirit of nationalism that we have always had and that we treasure as a people. Let this November, culminating with Barbados National Day, be the best one ever, the grandest, the biggest, the best. As I see Rico over there in the audience, as Rico would say, the bombest. Right? Let us really make this one to remember. It is important for us as people, it is important for us as a country, it is important for us as nationals, and it's important for our own nationality. I invite you to everything that is being put on, and I look forward to seeing you there. I guess there might be some questions from the press, so the floor is now open if the press wants to ask anything. No surprise to see the first person pressing the microphone. Go ahead, Colville.
I have two questions. Good afternoon, everyone, to the table. I have two questions. I will start with the less controversial of the two. In terms of, as we enter this new chapter in our contemporary history, on our march to full sovereignty, what would be the distinctions in terms of, or the marked difference in our celebration post-Republic compared to how we would have celebrated independence? What are the marked difference that you can point to?
Colville, a celebration is a celebration. When we became independent on the 30th of November in 1966, that was the first step. At that point in time, the attainment of independence was seen as the goal, the ultimate goal of and by itself. But as we achieved independence and as we persisted as an independent nation, we realized that there was more to it. That although we claim to be independent, we're not fully, and we're a parliamentary independent country, right? We were not fully independent because our head of state was somebody who did not look like us, didn't live among us, that we could not reach out to and touch, that could not come to your 100th birthday celebration if you live to be so long. But we had gotten there, but we had not fully gotten there. On the 30th of November last year, we got there. We got our own full identity as a self-governed, fully independent country. I don't draw the distinction between celebrating Independence Day and the day we became a republic. We are now fully independent, fully self-governed, and fully a country standing on its own with its own national identity. And I guess that is what in many ways influenced the decision, that independence is pivotal, it is important. Errol Barrow, the right, excellent Errol Walton Barrow, will always be the father of Barbados' independence. We can't take that from him. We don't want to take that from him. But we went a step further and we became a republic. So there was that, you know, that there was that toss-up. Do we call it Independence Day? Do we call it Republic Day? What do we call it? But at the end of the day, the 30th of November 1966 was a day of national importance to us. It was a Barbados nationally important day. Last year, 2021, 30th of November, was another day of national importance. And it is fitting that it just be called Barbados National Day. On this day, we celebrate all things Bajan. We celebrate our culture, we celebrate our history, we celebrate independence, we celebrate our republican status. We celebrate any and all things that help to make us and define us as a people. So I'm not saying there's a difference in celebration before and after. We want to celebrate as best we can everything that encompasses little Barbados and everything that makes us who we are.
Well, I can see you jumped ahead to my second question actually before
long
before I even ask it, because I was trying to ascertain, as we amalgamate both our independence and republic, how do we ensure that the latter is not obscured at the independence celebration is not obscured at the expense of our new trajectory as a republic?
Colville, you keep focusing on a name and you keep focusing on a day, right? As opposed to focusing on our journey. Our journey to independence started in 1966. Our journey to full independence, full national independence with a national identity, full self-governance, culminated last year on the 30th of November. So it's not a matter of obscuring one or the other. November the 30th will always be Barbados' Independence Day. November the 30th will always be the day we became a republic. But we can't keep juggling them around and causing confusion. And whether you fall on the side of it being Independence Day or you fall on the side of calling it Republic Day, the fact is it is a day of national determination, of national identity, of national significance. And you know what? The amount of times I've used national, the name should now roll off your tongue. Barbados National Day. It just made sense, Colville.
If I may go back to my first question.
You said two questions.
Well, I don't see anybody else clamoring to the microphone. So if I may go back to the very first question, what I was actually referring to was specifics and logistics. Are there anything, I guess the head of the NCF can maybe weigh in on this. Are there any other any logistical differences in this year's celebrations from years gone by?
There would be, because every year we endeavor to bring something that's new and fresh, building on the best practices and the popularity of the various aspects of the celebration we did the year before. I thought when I first heard your question, Colville, that you were leaning more towards trying to find out what's different with the way people celebrate. And if that's where I think you're going, my response would be that government sets the overarching framework within which government agencies like the NCF create. But we also depend very heavily on the creative expression of Barbadians wherever or in, whichever endeavor they're engaged. And one of the things that it happened in 1966, and it has been happening since 2021, is that as regular Barbadians accept the concept, as they did in 1966, of being independent and being able to express yourself freely, creativity happens. So you get a rush of arts all across all disciplines, whether it's literature, whether it's visual arts, whether it's culinary arts. And in just a year, we at the NCF and at the Division of Culture have seen that. You have got creatives doing amazing work, quite a lot in new technologies, but even more in traditional disciplines of the arts. And so you're seeing more murals, aren't you? Government isn't putting up all of them. You are hearing different fusions and experimentations musically, aren't you? Government isn't behind all of these projects. You're seeing a lot more exploration and experimentation with NFTs and the use of digital platforms as modes and conduits for artistic expression. A lot of it isn't organized or funded by government, but it comes out of the overarching framework that happened at the level of governance. We are now a republic. What does that mean? And in the creative sector, people have been answering that question by their very own expression. If that is where you were going. That's where you were going. Okay, good.
I think Mr. Abrams just said it. We're focusing perhaps, on that particular date. And I just want to, to show that government has been very deliberate when we talk about this whole notion of a republic and what it should mean, and how that is to become a lived reality for people. So, for instance, the renaming of the Fairchild Street bus terminal in the name of Granville Williams, right, was not just about putting a name, but it was also about national identity, about saying to Bajans, that notion of ownership and who we are, and being able to walk and look up and be able to see and identify with people that we know. And that's an ongoing project. I mean, we've talked about the fact that we will be having a monument that will replace the Nelson statue, and that will be a monument that will be dedicated to the whole celebration of family, the Barbadian family, so that there is a deliberate nature for this government in the context of addressing this issue of national identity and who we are in the context of a republic. And so that the celebrations that we're having in November is part of that deliberate and very kind of strategic way of galvanizing Barbadians in the context of this republic, in the context of continuing that conversation, that evolution in terms of this new Barbados and what it means. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Colvin.
Definitely final question from me. Minister, I hate to harp on a point that you have labored on in terms of not being hung up on the name change and the actual day, but I'm being devil's advocate, and I can hear the critics saying that there should have been maybe for something that has been in existence for over 50-something years, over five decades. The public should have been consulted on a change of this nature. What would you say to those persons who would raise such a concern?
Yeah, but Colbert, what are we really changing? Between November 30th, 1966 and November 29th, 2021, it was Independence Day because that was the only relevant circumstance surrounding the day, and we were proud of it, and we celebrated fully. On the 30th of November 2021, then we became a republic. So there are two things of major significance on that day. And if you refer to November 30th as Independence Day, you're not wrong. If you refer to it as in Republic Day or the day we became a republic, you're not wrong. But to avoid all the confusion and to include everyone and all competing ideas and to embrace everything that is Bajan, it is more than just what happened on that day. November 30th for us now is about celebrating everything that is Bajan. It's about celebrating not just the fact that we are independent or that we are a republic, but it's about celebrating our people. It's about celebrating our arts. It's about celebrating our military. It's about celebrating our kite flyers. It's about celebrating everything that we associate with being Bajan. I'll give you a little story. There is a particular Bajan, I'm not going to call his name because he's embarrassed with this story, but he'll recognize himself when he hears it. I know who was the exact last person who became a Barbadian citizen by swearing allegiance to the Queen. I know exactly who it was. It is a white American who lives in Barbados, and I tease him about it all the time. If he waited a couple more weeks, then he wouldn't have sworn to the Queen. And he is so proud of being a Bajan, and he's so upset that he came as the last person swearing allegiance to the Queen. He was interviewed at the Food and Rum, the Liquid Gold thing. He came in, and the press assumed he was a tourist, and they interviewed him, and he spoke a little bit in his American accent, and then he said, but at the end of the day, I was a Bajan. It is that pride associated with being a Bajan and everything it carries with it. I am proud to be a Bajan. I don't want to be anything else. I never want to be anything else. I am proud of what it entails. I am proud that it is people stand up with their hands akimbo and quarreling. I am proud of the strips. Right? I am proud of all the little things that make us who we are. I am proud of the tamarind balls with the salt and the black pepper in them. I am proud of the conkeys with the raisins. And just for the record, as I have the microphone, to put an end to this debate, if it doesn't have raisins, it's not a conky. It's something else. It's not a conky. Conkeys with raisins are the only real conkeys. Right? But I am proud, Colville, from a child to now. It fills me with a sense of excitement. That's why I want to invite everybody. I want to invite, come out. Come out and experience us. If you're not from here, come out and experience us. If you're a tourist coming in, come out and experience being a Bajan and what being a Bajan is all about. If you're somebody who has lived in Barbados for a long time and doesn't yet have citizenship, come out and experience where you should actually finally get that stamp there and call yourself a Bajan, Colville. Right? But, sorry, I just had to throw that. There's something under here. It's a personal joke between me and him. Right? But the point is, this is an exciting time for us. Normally it's exciting. Normally November is an exciting month. But coming now, as the first time we can properly celebrate after COVID, there's everything to look forward to. It is our national day, and I invite you and everybody else to be a part of it. I want to ask you a question, truthfully. Are you excited about November?
Of course I am. Yes.
Are you excited about November 30th?
As a media person, definitely I am.
Are you excited about November? Are you? Rico, let me hear. Are you?
Yes, please.
November is what?
National Day.
Okay. Everybody here is excited, and we want that excitement to get out. It needs to be infectious. This needs to be the best November 30th ever. Our first under the title and under the name Barbados National Day. The invitation is open to all. Please come and participate in everything.